reading the 10th canto, chapter 5, text number 1 and 2. This is the chapter summary by Srila Prabhupada. As described in this chapter, Nanda Maharaj very gorgeously performed the birth ceremony for his newborn child. Then he went to Kamsa to pay taxes due and met his intimate friend Vasudeva. There was great jubilation all over Vrindavan due to Krishna's birth. Everyone was overwhelmed with joy. Therefore, the king of Braja, Nanda Maharaj, wanted to perform the birth ceremony for his child, and this he did. During this great festival, Nanda Maharaj gave in charity to all present whatever they desired. After the festival, Nanda Maharaj put the cowherd men in charge of protecting Gokula, and then he went to Mathura to pay official taxes to Kamsa. In Mathura, Nanda Maharaj met Vasudeva. Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva were brothers, and Vasudeva praised Nanda Maharaj's good fortune because he knew that Krishna had accepted Nanda Maharaj as his father. When Vasudeva inquired from Nanda Maharaj about the welfare of the child, Nanda Maharaj informed him all about Vrindavan, and Vasudeva was very much satisfied by this, although he expressed his grief because Devaka's many children had been killed by Kamsa. Nanda Maharaj consoled Vasudeva by saying that everything happens according to destiny, and that one who knows this is not aggrieved. Expecting many disturbances in Gokula, Vasudeva then advised Nanda Maharaj not to wait in Mathura, but to return to Vrindavan as soon as possible. Thus Nanda Maharaj took leave of Vasudeva and returned to Vrindavan with the other cowherd men on their bullock carts. So there's actually two parts to this. So we just one up there. There's only one up there. We'll just do that one first. Translation. Sukadeva Goswami said, Nanda Maharaj was naturally very magnanimous, and when Lord Sri Krishna appeared as his son, he was overwhelmed by jubilation. Therefore, after bathing and purifying himself and dressing himself properly, he invited Brahmins who knew how to recite Vedic mantras. After having these qualified Brahmins recite auspicious Vedic hymns, he arranged to have the Vedic birth ceremony celebrated for his newborn child, according to the rules and regulations, and then he also arranged for worship of the demigods and forefathers. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has discussed the significance of the words Nandas tu. The word tu, he says, is not used to fulfill the sentence because without tu the sentence is complete. Therefore, the word tu is used for a different purpose. Although Krishna appeared as the son of Devaki, Devaki and Vasudeva did not enjoy the Jatakama, the festival of the birth ceremony. Instead, this ceremony was enjoyed by Nanda Maharaj, as stated here. Nanda Strapmaja Utpane Jatala Do Mahamana. When Nanda Maharaj met Vasudeva, Vasudeva could not disclose, your son Krishna is actually my son. You are his father in a different way, spiritually. Because of fear of Kamsa, Vasudeva could not observe the festival for Krishna's birth. Nanda Maharaj, however, took full advantage of this opportunity. Excuse me. I get old. Okay. The Jatakamani ceremony can take place when the umbilical cord connecting the child and the placenta is cut. However, since Krishna was brought by Vasudeva to the house of Nanda Maharaj, where was the chance for this to happen? In this regard, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur desires to prove with evidence from many Shastras that Krishna actually took birth as the son of Yashoda before the birth of Yogamaya, who is therefore described as the Lord's younger sister. Even though there may be doubts about the cutting of the umbilical cord, and even though it is possible that this was not done, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears, such events are regarded as factual. Krishna appeared as Varahadev from the nostril of Brahma, and therefore Brahma is described as the father of Varahadev. Also significant are the words Karayam Asa Vidivat, being overwhelmed with jubilation over the birth of his son. Nanda Maharaj did not see whether the cord was cut or not. Thus he performed the ceremony very gorgeously. According to the opinion of some authorities, Krishna was actually born as the son of Yashoda. In any case, without regard for material understandings, we can accept that Nanda Maharaj's celebration for the ceremony of Krishna's birth was proper. This ceremony is therefore well known everywhere as Nandotsava. Om Jnana Timandasya Gnananjana Shlakaya Chakshuramalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhastam Stapatam Yena Bhutale Swayamrupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam. So this is Krishna's birth and the celebration. And Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva, they have a different relationship with Krishna. In fact, when Krishna was going to see, or when Vasudeva was going to see Krishna in the presence of Nanda Maharaj, it's described that somehow or other Krishna wanted to avoid that Nanda Maharaj had so much affection for Krishna, which was a different sort of relationship than what Vasudeva had, because Vasudeva's relationship with Krishna was more reverential, and Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda had a higher relationship, more spontaneous love. And out of the two, it said that Mother Yashoda had a higher relationship with Krishna than Nanda Maharaj. So these are all intricacies of devotional service, of different relationships that the Lord has with different devotees. So Krishna actually wants the most intimate relationship with his devotees, and that's why Krishna likes to have friends that don't know he's God, and likes to have a mother and a father that don't know he's God, and he likes to have lovers. And that's also why the name Krishna is preferable to other names of God, because this is the most intimate name of God. Prabhupada described it, that if there's somebody who's a big shot in a business, they're a CEO of a company, so their name is Mr. Jones, and so they have a different name. People call them different names. Like the cleaner will say, "Yes, sir." So she has a very reverential attitude towards the boss. And then there may be some sales people, they call him Mr. Jones. And then there may be some partners sitting on the board, and then call him John. And his lover calls him by his nickname. And so he's more inclined towards the name that the lover calls him, because she has a more intimate relationship with him. So Krishna, as Prabhupada explained, that is the most intimate name of God. And that is why Krishna likes to be called Krishna. He doesn't really want to be worshipped as God. So Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, the residents of Vrindavan, they don't worship Krishna as God. Therefore, going to Goloka Vrindavan is considered to be the greatest destination. Devotees are not interested in going to Vaikuntha. We don't want to get the same bodily features as the Lord. We don't want to look like the Lord. We don't want to have the same opulences as the Lord. And we simply want to love Krishna without any impeding of the love by the reverential aspect. So this is the teachings of the Goswamis, especially as Lord Chaitanya, that their teaching how to relate to Krishna on the highest level. And this was one of the great contributions of Sanatana Goswami, that Sanatana Goswami, he was a very intimate associate of Radharani, but all these great Goswamis, they appear in the material world to teach us how to practice devotional service. Even though they have no business coming to the material world, they pretend to have some business, but actually they were eternally liberated persons. And by hearing about them and by reading about their lives, it's actually very beneficial for us, because not only does it make us realize how fallen we are and how exalted they are, it helps to keep us humble, but at the same time, we can learn so many truths of devotional service by studying their books and by studying their activities. So Sanatana Goswami, for instance, seeing it's his disappearance day today, he is a very important personality in the Krishna consciousness movement. Prabhupada says that especially Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami, out of all the 6 Goswamis, these, Prabhupada said, were the most important, but all of them are very important. But Sanatana Goswami, they all compiled many wonderful books. And these books are actually there for our edification, for our benefit. That these books are written because, Prabhupada gave us everything. We cannot say that Prabhupada did not give us everything. He gave us everything. But at the same time, Narottam Das Thakur is praying, when will he become enthusiastic to study the books written by the 6 Goswamis? So that is something that we may aspire for, we may not aspire for. We don't have to aspire for it. We can get perfection reading Prabhupada's books. Just like the illiterate Brahmin got perfection by reading the Bhagavad Gita. But still, they wrote these books for a purpose. And there are so many books, actually. It's impossible to read all the books, in fact. Just to study, for instance, the Srimad Bhagavatam, that's a very long-term study. You can read it many, many times over and over again. And the Brihat Bhagavatam Rita, written by Sanatana Goswami, that's also a very deep book that one can study over and over and again. It's quite complicated, but it's very important. All these books are very important. Prabhupada actually encouraged us to read these books. The Goswamis did come to the material world to write these books. So these books are very beneficial, and their behavior is very beneficial. So therefore it's described in great detail in the scriptures. The Goswamis, especially Raghunath Das Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami. So Sanatana Goswami, he had a very special relationship. Everyone had a very special relationship with Lord Chaitanya. Raghunath Das Goswami had a very special relationship, and Rupa Goswami too. But Sanatana Goswami, his relationship was very unique. And Sanatana Goswami was very detached, because all the Goswamis was very detached. And as we say, Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipano Santama Samstapano. How's it go? Lokanam Hitakarano Tribhuvano. Yeah. Radha Krishna Padaravindo Bhajana Nandena. Anyway, sorry, getting old. Not getting old. But one interesting thing is actually that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as we know, he had an eidetic memory. He could remember anything very quickly. But when he was old, he had to get prompted to remember certain verses. So when you get old, you lose everything. not just your body. So anyway, it's said that they wrote these books because they delineate the process of devotional service. And in another verse in the Sad Goswami Astakam, it describes how they wrote the books to pour transcendental love for Radha and Krishna upon us. I don't know the Sanskrit to that one, but very amazing. So they specifically wrote these books and performed their pastimes and activities so that we could actually understand the process of devotional service. Of course, Lord Chaitanya, many chapters, 4 or 5 chapters in the Madhya Lila are devoted to the instructions given by Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami. Very, very elaborate instructions describing, the material world, the spiritual world, all the different planets, the process of devotional service, then life's ultimate goal, love of Godhead. Very elaborate. And based on these instructions, Sanatana Goswami compiled the Brihat Bhagavatamrita and the Hari Bhakti Vilas. Hari Bhakti Vilas is very voluminous, a lot of verses, very high standard. Prabhupada said that it was written also to confound the Smarta Brahmins, because there's so many things in the Hari Bhakti Vilas that are practically impossible for a regular devotee to follow. Like Prabhupada said that, just hearing about them will make us faint. For instance, there's one verse in there about people wearing tilak. It says that if people who are qualified and supposed to wear tilak, if they don't wear tilak, they're supposed to be driven out of town sitting backwards on a donkey. And then there are many verses describing how you're supposed to follow Ekadashi. And it's extremely austere. If you follow Ekadashi according to the Hari Bhakti Vilas, it's very difficult. But Prabhupada said we don't have to worry about it. We're supposed to chant 25 rounds a day and, try to read and chant extra. But then again, Lord Chaitanya said if devotees are going on Sankirtan, they can eat grains. So practically speaking, Prabhupada, he gave us so much of an easier process. He didn't actually tell us to chant 64 rounds a day, but he did tell us to go out preaching. And this is the bottom line. If you can't chant a lot of japa, at least you should be going out preaching, or at least you should be assisting those that are going out preaching, or you should be, assisting Srila Prabhupada's mission in establishing Krishna consciousness. Just like there's one devotee, Jivapati. You probably know Jivapati. So Jivapati, a lot of times Sankirtan devotees, we might get a little proud because we're the big preachers, we're going out distributing the books. And we see that sometimes, some Sankirtan devotees, they do very big and they get wonderful results. And sometimes they give up Krishna consciousness. This happens. There was one boy, because sometimes it can be a material kind of ability which makes you be able to distribute a lot of books. Not always. And, Krishna sees how hard you try, not necessarily how many books you distribute. You might have the capacity to distribute a lot of books and you might try hard. And great. But anyway, so people come and go, but this Jivapati, as you know, he just performed menial service for the deities for many, many years here. He was in Chicago or Detroit. Jayatirtha Prabhu brought him over here. And for many years, he was just doing menial service, washing the plates, living in a very austere situation. So, it's serving the mission, not necessarily going out, but if you can go out. I like going out because for me, there's that's just my nature. I'm not really qualified to worship the deity all day, but I do like to go out and distribute books. And, there's a certain taste in distributing books and meeting people that, I didn't really want to relinquish. So I don't think Sankirtan, going out and book distribution, is something you necessarily have to, grow out of to do something better. Because I think that, when you go out and meet people, and you're giving them love of God, basically. That's the amazing thing. That by getting people to get a book or getting people to chant Hare Krishna, you're giving them love of God. So we know that Haridas Thakur and Lord Nityananda, they used to personally go out preaching door to door, and they were trying to give people love of God. So, but everyone has a different way, and the Goswamis' way of giving love of God was to write the books. They were writing the books. And so, but by their personal behavior, they established the Siddhanta of devotional service. Just like when Sanatana Goswami, he was put in prison. And when he was put in prison, he still had some gold coins, I don't know how, but these things are inconceivable. But he had some gold coins, and he was trying to get out of the prison because he wanted to go to Vrindavan. He wanted to meet Lord Chaitanya, actually. He wanted to go. And so the Muslim jailkeeper, he bribed him. First of all, he offered him a certain amount of gold coins. He said, if you let me out, it's a very pious activity to free people who are suffering. So let me out of the prison. You can just say, well, he went down to the river Ganges to pass stool, and somehow or other he got away, or he escaped, or he drowned or something. And so the jailkeeper wasn't convinced, so he offered us some more gold coins. And then he was convinced, and so the jailkeeper let him out. Sanatana Goswami had told him, well, you can tell the king that actually I've gone on pilgrimage to Mecca. Because he had actually, he was Sakar Malik. He assumed a Muslim name. So, I've gone on pilgrimage. Anyway, he got out, and then he went, and then there was some other things. He had few more coins left. He had a servant, Ishan, I think his name was. Anyway, so he went to a landholder, and the landholder got a palmist to read his hand, and he could see that he was very expert palmist. He could see that he had 8 gold coins. So the landholder said, well, I was going to kill you for these gold coins, but it's all right. You can give me the gold coins, and you can keep one of them, and I will show you the way to get away from this area, to escape the Muslims. So he said, no, I want to give you all of them, because if I keep one of them, someone will kill me for that one. So take all 8 of them. So anyway, he escaped, and then he went to Benares, Varanasi. Whose is that? My God. My alarm from America, 3:15 a.m. Must be 8:15. Sorry. So anyway, Shri Shri Radha Gokula Nanda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman Ki Jai. So then he went to see Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya, he was in Varanasi, and he went there, and he was sitting outside the door, and he still had a beard. Actually, his brother, Anupam, I think his name was, had given him a nice fancy chadar. So, and he was sitting out the door. Was it Chandrasekhar? Chandrasekhar, who was at the home of Chandrasekhar, Lord Chaitanya. So he went out, and Lord Chaitanya had told him, there's a devotee outside the door, go bring him in. So he went outside, and he saw Sanatana Goswami, but Sanatana Goswami had the beard and the long hair, and so he didn't think he was a devotee. So he came back in and told Lord Chaitanya, well, there's no devotee out there. So then Lord Chaitanya said, well, is there anybody out there at all? So he said, yeah, there's a Muslim mendicant. So he said, bring him in. And of course it was Sanatana Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami and Lord Chaitanya, they embraced each other and they fell on the ground in ecstatic love, because you got to remember that Lord Chaitanya was a combination of Lord Chaitanya and Srimati Radharani, and Sanatana Goswami was a Manjari, or I think it was a Manjari, I can't remember who it was. Who was it? Guna Manjari or something, remember? Anyway, they embraced, and their loving sentiments were aroused. And so then Sanatana Goswami could see that Lord Chaitanya wasn't completely satisfied. So he realized that the fancy chadar that he had on wasn't really pleasing to Lord Chaitanya. So he went out to the river Ganges and he found a beggar, and he wanted to trade his blanket for the beggar's torn quilt, and the beggar didn't believe that he wanted to trade it. Sir, you must be joking. What's wrong with you? You want to give me this old new blanket? Anyway, he traded, and then he understood that Lord Chaitanya wanted to shave his beard and his hair off. And so Lord Chaitanya said, well, a good physician doesn't allow any trace of a disease to remain. So the fact that he had a beard and long hair wasn't pleasing to Lord Chaitanya. So he shaved that off, and then, he went before the Lord. And that was one encounter. Another very important encounter that Sanatana Goswami had with Lord Chaitanya was in Jagannath Puri. In Jagannath Puri, Sanatana Goswami was looking for Lord Chaitanya. He went to Puri to find Lord Chaitanya. And when he went there, on the way, he contracted some disease from drinking the bad water. And his body got these nasty sores on them, which didn't smell good. And so he went there, and he wasn't feeling good because he was feeling very kind of depressed because he had these sores, and he was thinking, I'm just such a sinful person, and somehow or other I'm going to see Lord Chaitanya and I don't feel qualified to see him. Anyway, he went there, and he was avoiding going by the main gate because he didn't want to touch any of the pujaris of Lord Jagannath. So anyway, he met Haridas Thakur, and he disclosed he was thinking of committing suicide. He wanted to kill himself under the wrath cart because he'd heard that if you actually die under the wrath cart, you get liberation. So he was thinking like this, and then he met Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya embraced him. The story is a little bit complicated. I don't remember all the details because I don't have a good memory. But he met Lord Chaitanya, and he was in this suffering condition. He was feeling very humble. Actually, humility is described sometimes Srimati Radharani gets a feeling of humility, and it's described that that feeling is like a combination of feeling like an offender and feeling very fallen, and there's something else, can't remember. Anyway, so he quoted this famous verse, Kayami, Kayamaya, Tapatraya. Who am I? Why do the threefold miseries give me so much suffering? So he had a very humble mood. Lord Chaitanya was very happy. Lord Chaitanya kept embracing him. And that made him feel a lot worse, because Lord Chaitanya is, the supreme pure, and Sanatana Goswami has all these infective sores that smelt bad. He's felt so bad. And so Lord Chaitanya, being omniscient, he understood exactly what Sanatana Goswami was thinking. So he said, if it was as easy to kill yourself to get love of God, then, everybody would kill themselves, but that's not the way. Then he quoted something, Lord Chaitanya, a verse about the gopis. He says, because the gopis, they say to Krishna, "Oh dear Krishna, by your smiling glances and melodious talk, you have awakened a fire of lusty desire in our hearts. Now you should extinguish that fire with a stream of nectar from your lips by kissing us. Kindly do this, otherwise, dear friend, the fire within our hearts will burn our bodies to ashes because of separation from you. Thus, by meditation, we shall claim shelter at your lotus feet." So, anyway, Lord Chaitanya quoted that verse, and then he said, "But your body is my property. You can't possibly kill yourself, because I have many, 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 many things that I want you to do with your body. I want you to excavate the holy places. I want you to write literatures about Krishna. I want you to establish temples. I want you to establish the etiquette for Vaishnava behavior. There are so many things that I want you to do." Anyway, so Haridas Thakur was feeling a little bit transcendently jealous because, Lord Chaitanya was embracing Sanatana Goswami, and of course Haridas Thakur was, such an advanced devotee. So so Sanatana Goswami actually recited that famous praise of Haridas Thakur, where he says, and I don't know the verse exactly, but he said that you are the perfect devotee, because you not only preach Krishna consciousness, but you behave impeccably. So therefore, you are the perfect devotee. So just like Haridas Thakur, he was so adamant about the benefit of chanting Hare Krishna. So one of his famous sayings was that you can cut out my tongue, but I'll still chant Hare Krishna. So that should be the determination of a devotee, that even if they cut out our tongue, we'll still chant Hare Krishna. So anyway, Sanatana Goswami, he also met Jagadananda Pandit, and he was still feeling miserable because Lord Chaitanya kept embracing him. So he met Jagadananda Pandit, and Jagadananda Pandit explained his situation. Jagadananda Pandit said, "Well, then you should just go to Vrindavan, you should go to Mathura." And so then somehow or other Lord Chaitanya found out that Jagadananda Pandit, well, actually Sanatana Goswami told Lord Chaitanya that Jagadananda Pandit told him to go to Vrindavan. So then Lord Chaitanya called Jagadananda Pandit and he chastised him. He said, "Who are you to give advice to Sanatana Goswami? You're just a new boy." Of course, Jagadananda Pandit was actually an incarnation of who? Satyabhama. So it's hard to understand because Satyabhama is an expansion of Radharani. So all these things are a little deep. But anyway, so he said, who are you? Don't follow his advice. And then he actually, he said that you and Haridas Thakur, you are like my little children, my babies. Because just as the mother, she will clean the stool and the urine of the child, she won't feel offended at all, but she gets great pleasure from cleaning the child. So similarly, I think of you as my little babies, my little children. And when I embrace you, to me, it smells like this very fragrant substance called chaturshama, which is a mixture of aguru and musk and sandalwood and camphor. It's a very wonderful smell. So this was how Lord Chaitanya felt about Sanatana Goswami. Because Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, they only see the love. They don't see whatever defects somebody may have. So that is, that is what devotional service is all about. Even if we offer, water or flower, if we have the love, that's what Krishna wants. So, anyway, he embraced Sanatana Goswami again. And then Sanatana Goswami his body became very, very beautiful. He assumed a golden complexion. He became very beautiful. And then Jagadananda Panda, he was a little bit envious as well. They had some other pastimes, actually. There was another pastime when Sanatana Goswami was in Vrindavan with Jagadananda Pandit. And Jagadananda Pandit, they were very close. But one time, Sanatana Goswami, he put a red cloth around his head. And immediately when Jagadananda Pandit, he saw it and he became overwhelmed with love because he thought Lord Chaitanya had given him this red cloth. But then he found out that actually, when he asked Sanatana Goswami, where'd you get this cloth from? So Sanatana Goswami said, I got it from somebody called a sannyasi, a wonderful sannyasi called Chaitanya Saraswati. I think that was his name. Anyway, so then Jagadananda Pandit, he got very angry. He said, what are you doing? You are wearing something given to you by somebody other than Lord Chaitanya. So he chastised him very heavily. So anyway, these are wonderful pastimes. And of course, not very much about the verse today. One thing I was going to mention was that in the verse, it says how Nanda Maharaj actually got these qualified Brahmins. And qualified Brahmins were such an important part of Vedic culture. And when Krishna kicked the cart, the cart demon, then all Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, they were very, very disturbed about that. So they wanted to actually get some Brahmins. And Lord Nanda Maharaj recited this nice verse. Yesu yamritadambersha himsa Yesu yamritadambersha himsa mana vivajitaha. They say, when Brahmins are free from envy, false prestige, disturbance by the opulence of others, their blessings never go in vain. So that's why Brahmins were very important. So Sanatana Goswami, he was also obviously the topmost Brahmin. There's a book about Vrindavan Parikrama. It was written by some Pundarik Vijayanatha Prabhu. He's a He was a brahmachari. He lived in Vrindavan for about 25 years. He's married now. He lives in Alachua. But he compiled this book about Sanatana Goswami's parakram around Vrindavan. He used to go on parakram. And he had a very close relationship with many of the residents of Vrindavan. And they loved him very deeply. And when he would see them, he would ask them about their family and their children and how their health was and how their education was and everything like that. So he was very personable with all these inhabitants of Vrindavan. And, he is setting the example that, what is a real Brahmin? Because, like Prabhupada said, to become a Brahmin is not so easy. To get a Brahmin thread is easy enough, but to actually manifest the qualities of a Brahmin, that's not so easy. So, anyway, this is important day, Sanatana Goswami. Try to read his books, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, when you've read all the other books by Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much.